Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Manuel Godoy. Here with Jason from Lost Children of Andromeda. I'm sure you've seen his stuff online on Facebook or at least Instagram for sure, right? You either seen it directly from him or all the other black cosplay and anime and all the other pages who always post dope imagery. You probably ran into his main characters plenty of times in the past, and now he's currently doing a Kickstarter. He's on his last 3 days. He's, let's say, 60% funded. He
Yeah,
has a massive goal that he wants to hit, but he's close. He's close. He's almost at that finish line. And I think introducing him to you guys today, and also us doing what we always do, which is support Black creatives. I think we can give him the little nudge he needs to start trending on his last 3 days. Hopefully, he will be fully funded, safe, and he can make his next novel, next novel, because this one exists. Where is it? Right here. Yeah. This one right here is pretty dope too. I definitely endorse it. The next one, which is actually the prequel to that series right there. So, with that being said, Jason, please introduce yourself to our community, and let's get this done.
what's up, man? Thank you. I appreciate you opening up the space. You are a diehard supporter of the community, of creators of the community. So I really appreciate it. I'm Jason. I'm the author of and creator of Lost Children of Andromeda. Huge nerd. Love comic books and all of that. And I wrote this series. Started the series when I was a kid, and now as an adult, I'm like using everything I learned through my career in marketing to bring it to life. And follows Alistair Adams. He's the main character, and he is looking for alien artifacts to stop the apocalypse. And that's the book 2050Z.
Got you. Well, I have a question. Do you currently have an executive producer tier?
What would that entail?
Just simply putting people in the back of the book as executive producers. So,
Oh so we have an acknowledgement tier, and that I believe starts at like $60 or $75, I think.
mhm.
And that's listing everything out. But you also get the hardcover novel, Zosma, a poster, and some digital prints, and you get a mention in the book. Yeah.
Got you. And that includes the 2050
Z,
um
yeah.
yeah 2050Z book as well. Yeah, so I think personally in these last 3 days, add a tier for like $150 for an executive producer tier. I think a couple of people who already pledged in your campaign, including people like uh Nee Wilson over here, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
he would love to give you more money if you give him a tier that's worth it. So executive producer tier is nothing more than symbolism, right? But at least they
Yeah.
could say, I helped create this. I'm not acknowledged, right?
Yeah.
I have a big, placement in there, right? Or whatever. And people love putting their kids in books. So, most of these people who put that thing, they're gonna be like, I'm just gonna put my kid's name in there, right? So I can show him one day in the future. So that might be a really good slick way to rapidly accelerate your conversions and convert a lot of your previous people to a higher tier, right? If they want
Yeah.
acknowledgement, give them
Yes.
more acknowledgement.
Yeah. That's genius. Genius. Genius.
Let's go and look at the actual campaign and see where it's at so far. So right here we are at uh, let's see, 22,000. So 22,257 backers. That's pretty good. It's pretty good right now. Let's see if we can look in the actual campaign, get some dope imagery. So first off, man, when you see stuff like this, you know for a fact that this is different, right? It has that energy, very different appeal to this series. If you don't know about it, it's basically a light novel series. So the books are huge, like they're freaking massive. All right, but they have a lot of images in there, like maybe one every like 8 pages or so,
Yeah.
8 to 10 pages. You're gonna see another full screen shot of some iconic scene or something like that, right? So if it's a light novel, it's exactly what that is. And obviously, it's an African Afrofuturism light novel, right? But that's the kind of energy he's coming with. He's been making it before. Zazma is really, really good. And it's definitely one of those stories that you could probably easily see, become a film one day or some crazy mess like that, animation, right? I personally like it a lot. You know, look at this stuff. You mean to tell me you can't back a project that has characters like this? Really? Like, are we really gonna go that far back and say, nah, bro, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. You know, I honestly believe we need to be going a lot harder than we are in the community, and this is definitely one of those campaigns that we could definitely support. As far as this particular series, why this? Why this, Jason?
You know, the series, like, it's been with me since I was a kid, and part of it started because I was reading books and I wasn't seeing myself in the book, so I started making up my own heroes and coloring them in, and they were black. And then when I was a teenager, I didn't want to do schoolwork, so I wrote the whole, instead of like doing well in high school, I wrote all the books during school, and then I wrote them through college, and then I got up to being like 33, and I was like, man, what happened to those books? And so it's the same characters, it's the same world, the same civilizations. Like, we go out in space and things as the series continues, and the essence of the characters has remained throughout this like 26 years since I first thought of it. So it's not so much that, you know, I kind of picked it out of the sky, so to speak. But just that the ideas, the scenarios, the things that happen, like, won't stop coming to my head. So, you know, it's very much like a statement about, it's like me taking what I see in society and things like that, and then funneling it into the story. So it's, you know, I said earlier, it's very true to like the African American experience, and specifically like how we, you know, function and exist in the systems that are created for us, and like how we break out of them, using our own power.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, man. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, novels are hard, man. Really big, well organized novels are hard as hell. When I read the first one, you know, Zazma, I was shocked at how separated it was. It wasn't like chapter one, right, and then all the way to the end of the chapter. I just had segments of like different perspectives. So whenever he changed the perspective of who was the main character of that specific section, it would be a completely different section. It would be like, hey, the setting of where you're at, the person from the viewpoint, and then it's going from their perspective, which is really cool because you have different narratives as you're looking in the story, right? Me personally, who's that dude, man? That's like the main. He's like an antagonist, man. He's always messing with
Hunter.
yeah, Hunter. So Hunter is an asshole, but he's cool though. You can't help but like this dude because he's like so good at what he does. Like Zosma's like overpowered. Like, he's mad overpowered and like immortal and crap. And this dude just locks him down like a wrangler or something, man. He could always outsmart even
Oh,
the
you
most.
mean Alistair? You mean Alistair?
Alistair, yeah. He can always outsmart everybody, and it's freaking funny, man. It's funny because he always gets the advantage, and it's crazy. And I was like, his parts are very, very enjoyable. You're gonna have favorites. All you guys who read this series, you're gonna have favorites. You know, you're not gonna be like, oh, okay, I have to support the MC. You know, he's the number one. You're gonna have your favorites, trust me, and they are gonna have significant roles in the story. There's no things where it's like, oh, okay, only this person's story is being told throughout the thing. He's gonna switch up a lot, and it's gonna let you know that they switched up because literally gonna be highlighted. Say, this is now their part of the story. I really like that about that. I assume that's gonna continue in 2050Z, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of narrative is still gonna go forward, and it's gonna be hardcovers, right?
Yeah, we're doing a hardcover. So that one actually people voted on. I had about I had like 70% vote for that cover over the other one, which was a little more book cover-ish, but this was very much like, to me, a movie poster. And I think people like the detail, they like the city background. And I had envisioned this like for a while, and it's actually I think it's a little bit of a trend in book world, which is important, you know, when you want to get on shelves, which I'm planning to sell this through indie bookstores, Black-owned independent bookstores, versus going to Amazon print to order for the hardcover. So yeah, I just want to like create a distribution, I guess, differentiator, because I know Amazon can sabotage other businesses by the way that they.
Yeah, and you know, you gotta find a good price point too. You know, you never
Yeah.
know. You gotta see the velocity from which these will sell, right, on the market,
Yeah.
and then if the velocity is right, you get a lot more of them for a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And you know, economies of scale eventually, you know,
Yeah.
it blows up.
I feel like I feel like the threshold. Well, the threshold for a hardcover, the novel of this type is like $25, like the most. But since I'm not backed by a traditional publisher, I should probably be somewhere closer to like $17.99 or $19.99 to be competitive. But it's gonna depend. I mean, I have a lot of pictures in there.
You black, you black. You don't gotta drop your price to be competitive with regular people.
You black, charge a full price.
How many black novels or black sci-fi novels are in here? They're gonna be like, yeah, probably none. Okay, I'll pay. They're gonna be like you gotta think that way. And I think there's a huge problem that we have as far as like the way we think about business is that we think we have to compete with the industry. We don't. We're niche. And as niche, you can charge whatever you want. So long as your book has high quality, they're gonna pay it. They're gonna pay it. So you got a book like this, which how many freaking pages is this? Because the last one was like 1 billion pages. So how many pages is this book?
It's not gonna be that much longer.
Okay, so how much is it then? How many pages?
I don't know yet.
Oh my God, man! Give me the estimate.
I'm getting the final proofread back. It's not gonna be more than last time. It's probably gonna be like 400 pages.
400 pages. Yeah, it's not that much. Only 400 freaking pages,
including pictures.
So you got 400 pages plus at least 30 pictures. I'm assuming there's 30 full-page pictures in there from that kind of size, because you were doing it about once every 10 pages minimum. So I would say at least 30 images, full-page images in there. Man, if you don't, you could charge whatever the hell you want in there. Me personally, I would charge $25 per novel. I mean, $25 per novel, and then have a bundle for like $40, right? Yeah, you want both of them for $40.
Both,
that's how I would do it. You know,
definitely.
But I sell thousands of books a month, so I have a different mentality on how these things work. But I know
we got to get this on the platform.
Well, we got to see first, right? We got to see where we're going with that, right? And I got to figure out how the hell to put novels on my freaking app, because I have no clue yet. I'm still trying to figure out that thing. Maybe we'll have to make a V2 version if it gets very popular. So what I'm thinking is this: if VSP gets very, very popular, V2, we could probably build another way of uploading where we just take text, right, and just have automatically like if it work out. You know what I mean? Right now you have to do all this crap like make JPEGs of every single. It's too much of a mess for a novel.
Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I've helped build one app before in my career, and it was for a jewelry brand, and the wireframe. I was like, I can't do this. It's too much.
It's a lot, especially with something like that that's completely server side. So you know, anybody who downloads the app, that's it. They ain't got to download no more chapters. They ain't got to do nothing. It automatically uploads everything. It's all on the server side. They make their account so they can save everything and go from platform to platform, right? We got both iOS and Android at the same time. So that's a big, you know, even Clubhouse is like, fuck it, only iOS.
Yeah. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, y'all are like the example, you know, it's like.
Well, the thing is, you know, I know my customers, so.
Yeah.
Exactly. While iOS is a better play if you want to have more phones or whatever, the reality is black people, right, have economies of scale and tend to buy Android because it's cheaper. That's just straight up. It's like, hey, a lot more people, you know, a lot more black people use Android. So we want to make sure that we have both platforms on there, just to make sure that everybody can get access, you know, and hopefully it plays out for us. Right now we're at about 6,000 pre-registers for our app. We're trying to hit 50,000 on day one. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully with that kind of reach though, we can actually start really like funding project like yours, funding like other people, like instantly. Like, cause the problem is How many followers you got on Instagram?
I have 27,700.
All right,
And
so
I actually started.
27,000.
I
Yeah,
started an experiment
27,000.
because I was asking people why they were following me. I started going through all my DMs. I started messaging people saying, "Hey, what brought you here?" A lot of people are like, "Oh, I like the art. I'm inspired by the art and things like that." But like,
Yeah.
not some of those people don't read. They don't like reading books. They want
Yeah,
comic books.
they're really supporting a Black creator. That's the reality of it. The idea of the production is what a lot of Black people support, right?
Yeah.
Same for me. 75% of my customers don't read comic books.
Yeah.
You know? It's more of the idea, the prestige of supporting, Black creatives and getting that narrative out there for people who do. All right. So that's important. But you have 27,000 followers.
Yeah.
On a post, you'll hit what, 500, 1,000?
It depends, but mostly on my artwork or on something with me in it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it'll be about 500, 1,000 people. That's what Facebook does to you. There's nothing you can do about it. Facebook and Instagram say, I know you got 27,000 people, but the reality is you have about 1,000 to 2,000 whenever I feel like it, right? And even then, we might not show it to them as well. We might also make it even worse than that. And that's the reality of conversion rates. If you have a conversion rate of 2%, which is considered the industry standard, right? Then 2% of 1,000 people, right, is at most 20, right? You're doing maybe 20 people will click the link, let alone invest or be a Kickstarter backer. And that means you're gonna have to spam the shit out of people nonstop and do it because you don't know which 1,000 they're gonna show it to, right? That's bad. That's extremely bad. And that's why I said with this app, we want to get control of the middleman. Middleman's gone. Now I could just say, hey, I want to do a notification to 100,000 users.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can't say, oh, well, all right, we'll give it to 2,000. Like, no, I want all 100,000 to get this update. And that's the power of the app. That's the power of it. So first of all, tell people what they can get in their campaign for their money, right? What's the favorite tier you like so far? And let's start getting these people converted.
Let me pull this up. So my favorite tier, I believe, is the hold on a second. Sorry. My favorite tier is the Cosmic Pack. So the Z Energy Unloaded Full Potential. Okay, so that's $150 tier. Which I can't change the reward, but you get limited edition hardcover 2050Z. You get 4 bookmarks, author signature, personal message, your name in the acknowledgments, which I can change to executive producer. Time and Salvation t-shirt, the high-res character prints and the poster, and then a bunch of digital. And then a bunch of digital. That's actually sold. There were 50. I've sold 26 of those.
Yeah, so you got 24 more. Let's go.
Yeah, so that's one of the more popular ones. The other popular one has been the Indie Power Pack. So we got Concrete, Street Team, CNS, Decimation Earth, plus 2050Z and Zosma in there. That's $75. The other one I love is if you haven't read Zosma, the My Evolutionary Potential hardcover, and that includes limited edition hardcover for 2050Z and Zosma, plus bookmarks and signatures on both of those. That one's $50. That's been a really popular one. And then the most popular, of course, is the hardcover, limited edition hardcover, with 4 limited edition bookmarks and the high-res character profiles on digital.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. So now let's go and turn it over to our audience so they can start asking some questions. Let's start it off with Lisa Starr, and then from there, everybody else start popping in. All right. All right, here we go. First question. So how did you come up with this idea?
Funny you should ask that. I have it right here. I was about 10 years old, drawing my dragons and things. And I'd read a book called Jeremy Thatcher Dragon Hatcher, and I thought it was cool that he went to this other world and found these dragons. And I was like, well, this story isn't over, and and it's not going to be Jeremy, it's going to be me. And so in this story, they go back and humans try to take the dragons and use them to take over the world, and so I kept continuing the story on, and I wrote more and more, and it wasn't Jeremy anymore, it wasn't me anymore, and it became somebody else, and there's more characters, and I went to space, and I was very influenced by Marvel and different movies and things like that. So I built this whole universe from this book, Dragon Wars. So that's where I started the idea. It kept flowing into my head, honestly, and I would pick it back up, and I would write another book every year or so, from like 15 to 22, until I had 8 books. So it's been a long time coming.
Anybody else? Let's start having these questions. I don't really get them in real time, so I can't see the updates on who's asking questions fast enough. But let me see if I missed any on top as well. So let me go look back and stuff.
Thank you for the question, Lisa. I hope that answered it.
Yeah, definitely. I already gave the Kickstarter link. I will give it again at the end. Let's see. Nope, not there. New comments. All right. What made you decide to publish?
Oh, yeah. So, I was just writing these books and like putting them in a drawer. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that I didn't want to be a marketing executive for the rest of my life. Like I didn't want to work. I was working in fashion. And so I was like, if I could do anything with my life, what would I do? I would publish my childhood book series. And so I started researching self-publishing. I looked at like the craziness that is traditional publishing. There were no people of color. There was almost nobody publishing like diverse books in science fiction and fantasy, in 2013. Like it just wasn't a thing. It wasn't something that people were after looking for or whatever. So I was like, there's no way some traditional publisher is gonna like publish my book if it has a POC character. Like I didn't even want to go down that route, and I knew the importance of intellectual property. So I was like, I'm gonna publish independently. I'll just figure it out as I go. I'll figure out the business. I'll figure out the like development, and I'll figure out how to publish. So first it was just I want to do something that's not my job that I was doing, and then the second thing was like I want to do it my own way, and basically have leverage when I walk into a room and I'm like, hey, look what I built. Let's make something more of it or amplify or whatever the case may be. So that's how I did it.
Cool. Let's see. Next question is, who is the main character of Andromeda? And I'm going to expand on this. Who is the main character of Andromeda? What is his or her feats? And why should anybody give a damn about them?
Ooh. The main character's name is Alistair Adams. He has a connection to mystical Z energy. He has regeneration that is fueled by that Z energy, and he also has superior intelligence and strength. So, a superpower. He's not. He seems overpowered in the story, but the thing that makes Alistair unique is that he doesn't necessarily know everything, but he's like eager to learn, and he's eager to use his power at the beginning to save humanity. And he's looking for more knowledge about his heritage. He's looking for more knowledge about his potential and like how he can use that. And I think that that's the story that we can all connect with. We're doing it in our lives every day. So it's a very like a human character that you can connect with that happens to be super powered. And that's why I think people will really enjoy following his journey. And he goes through all the ranges of emotions, because by the time you get to Zazma, he's like a whole nother. He's like, I'm not with all the bullshit, like he's like, you all told me this, you told me this, none of this is true. And he starts to make his own way and say like, I'm gonna do things how I want to do them. I tried it your way, it didn't work. So I really like the way that he transforms over the series. So yeah.
That's a good question for both of us. I'll let you go first.
I'll let you go first. So it's interesting because what and have accomplished from a sales perspective is like a dream, because I've always been in like brand marketing, which isn't performance based. So I worked in brand marketing for a long time. So I'm working with already established businesses that have customer bases in entirely different departments that manage all the consumer funnel and things like that. So when it comes to things like distribution, right, I defaulted to Amazon. But what I realized was that Amazon is a platform like many others of the size, like we were talking about Instagram, where they don't necessarily look out for the person who is selling on the platform or producing content for the platform. They're looking out for themselves at the end of the day. So I am testing a model which is to distribute through bookstores independently by creating a unique product that they can sell, and we work together to amplify that. I don't know necessarily that's a scale, but it is an impact move for me. And the impact is supporting, Black-owned indie bookstores, and getting the novel out to communities that want it. I think in terms of getting great sales, though, I also sell books on my platform. Like I can't go live in somebody else's house. That's the basic premise. Like they built it, they get to decide what room I sit in, how many people get to come by. And if I build my own house, then I get to show you around, and I get to tell you where to sit and what to buy. So you got to build your own platform. And so with that, I'll turn it over to you, who has done so.
Yeah. So for me, there's 3 deaths in indie publishing, right? Both of us have already gone past the first death, right? Which is getting your book done, right? People work on a book for like 10 years, 20 years. It's like, just finish the book and release it and see what happens, right? So book is out. You already had some demand because you did your first Kickstarter years ago, and that was 35,000, right? So you already proved that there was demand for it. And where we need to go next after we survive the first death of indie publishing is selling a lot of copies in a short period of time, right? So our goal should be, hey, I want to sell 500 copies in a month. How the hell am I going to do that, right? And you really can't do that until you have like multiple books. But once you have multiple books and you have the ability to sell like 2 or more books per customer, you should be looking at that number, saying, how the hell do I get to 500 in a month? And it could be a combination. It could be a combination of Amazon, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the idea is to get there at all costs, right? Even if it's not profitable, get to 500 copies sold. Figure out how you can move product as fast as possible. Wait 1 second. I'm sorry, it's like a damn earthquake down here. My kids are upstairs and they let them do goddamn dancing every time I fucking get on here. Sorry, but basically the idea is you get to 500 sales in a month, right, at all costs. And then after you do that, you can start working on economies of scale, right? So our second death was simply getting to a point where we could actually afford to buy more books, right? And the third one is more like scaling your business. So if you don't scale, you end up basically doing the same thing for the rest of your life, and it kind of sucks, right? I've seen people who have been in the comic game for 10 years. They still got the same booth at Ajselij, doing the same thing year after year after year, right? And that sucks. You just don't want to be in that grind forever. You want to keep growing. So, those are the 3 deaths. Once you can buy 2,000 copies of your hardcover book, right, for each one, the price will drop dramatically per book. You'll probably be paying close to like $4 maybe for a freaking 400-page book, right? Because it's economies of scale. And if you have a price that low, might even be lower than that. I don't know, because it's a black and white book in basically novel, specs, right? So it's not a huge giant book. which means that you might be able to get the price even lower than that. Once you get to that point, at that point you can use third-party distribution like PGW or other third-party distributors, take a 60% discount and still make money hand over fist. Because now you're at such a great scale. So basically, the idea is figuring out that how the hell do we move product as fast as possible? Obviously, we want to do it on our website as opposed to Amazon, because Amazon takes more, right? And they also don't promote indie titles too much, so you'll never get the algorithm bug. But once we figure that out, we should be able to do some real damage. So yeah, that's my answer on that one. Let's go back up and let's see what else we have. I'm going to take like a couple more questions before we get out of here. Here's a good question for you.
Oh, that's a great question. I actually have done some research and pulled a list around of about 25 bookstores around the country. I'm actually partnering with a new book box, and they're called Otaku, I think. And they actually do like what Owl Books and like all those different things do, where they do like these book packages with different products and things like that. And so the next box is the Juneteenth box, and 2050Z will be in there. But please recommend local bookstores. I would love that, because wherever you're going and buying your books, I want to make sure that it's there. Like I said, I have a list, but I don't have everybody, and I want to make sure that I can support them and also drive things. So we'll do, like, if we can do Zoom readings, and when the world opens back up, I'll come in and all of that stuff too. So I want to make sure and build programming and build community around that as well. Thank you for the question.
Yeah. Look at that. You got a big pledge right here. So.
Thank you, Cameron. Appreciate it.
Drop 175 bones. We just gotta make sure that he gets 35,000 so he can take that money out.
Cameron definitely about to get executive producer credits.
How Kickstarter is, man. Kickstarter, all or nothing.
All
or nothing. You guys all or nothing. He don't make it, he ain't getting anything. If he gets to 34,000 and he got $35,000 goal, they just gonna say never mind and act like it never happened.
And the failure stays there forever too. Did you ever not did you ever not complete a Kickstarter, or did you just cancel it if you weren't going to make it?
I always cancel it if I'm not going to make it. But you're too close.
I'm too close. No, I'm too close.
Because at the last 3 days, you're always going to see a huge spike in pledges.
Yeah.
So I have no clue what's going to happen. I really don't. I can't call it out this far out, right?
Man, I know you've been watching. I know you've been watching, because it's such a small community, so everyone's kind of like paying attention. And look, there's like 4 campaigns going on right now. Everybody's always on. There's always a Kickstarter.
Always somebody on Kickstarter is doing.
Always somebody on Kickstarter. Not for this amount, but yeah, there's always somebody on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing. I'm keeping an eye on it, But it's an interesting thing, For me, I want to see what happens, right? Because this is a pretty big gap to go by, right? But I've seen other people get like freaking 15,000 in the last 3 days, right? And they didn't expect it at all. So I could see it happening, right? We'll see.
Oh, it's gonna happen. There's no way it's gonna go any other way. I mean, I have my own.
Listen to the nervousness in my voice, right? Because it'll set the tone for my backers. They understand that their actions will matter in the end of the day, right? Yeah. And the worst that happens is if it doesn't work, then you don't get charged anything. So fucking pledge, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have nothing to lose.
You're betting on him. So if you don't make it, then you don't lose anything. If you make it, then I guess you bought a really nice expensive book. But hey, nothing wrong with that. So let's go. Let's make some plays. Let's get these SPACs in. Let's see what else we got here.
That's a great point.
I never heard of this series. Can you pitch it to me?
Oh, snap. These are the pitch.
What is your 2-line log line? Let's go.
Alistair Adams and a group of underground evolutionaries fight for alien artifacts to save humanity. That's the log line.
Save humanity from what?
Save humanity from the apocalypse.
Okay, what kind of apocalypse?
That's the
alien
point.
invasion.
That's the point. That's the point. You got to dig in there and find out.
Ah, come on, man. That's something you gotta give people. I'm gonna teach y'all how to do a real log line. You gotta tell people what. You ain't gonna spoil the story by saying,
all right. Alistair Adams.
If it's a rumor, you can still use the rumor, right? You'd be like, that people think aliens are coming or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Alistair Adams and a group of hired evolutionaries fight for alien artifacts before natural disasters wipe out humanity.
There you go. Boom. Now,
there we go.
Now we know what the fuck is going on in the story. We can be like, oh, look at that. Another natural phenomenon. This is crazy. Right? There we go. Now we know what the hell we're in for. All right. So if you like tornadoes and death and ice storms ravaging the world with sci-fi, that's it. That's what we want. We want basically the world in permanent, storm pissed off mode. Right? And because that makes the story much more interesting than, hey, I got superpowers and I'm flying through space. Yeah, who cares? Right? Let's blow up some cities. Let's do that. All right.
Right.
All right. Let's see what else.
Lots of devastation.
Let's see. Do you realize that?
Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate you.
Keep the good work coming out. Our own comment. Bam. Okay. Yeah. Please. Hello. In case. Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff. I mean, he don't really have a crew, right? He's like a lone wolf. Right?
It definitely doesn't start like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely more like Black Panther, Avengers-ish. It's really more like X-Men than anything.
Okay.
If you were to compare anything, but they're not like
everybody hates Alistair.
Okay?
Everybody hates Alistair in that like the Indiana Jones hate Alistair, hey, fuck, it's Alistair. You already know something's wrong. Like, there he is. Something's about to be wrong. Something's about to go wrong here. Like nobody wants to see him coming, but they know drama's about to come with him. And there we go. And one question is Alistair stronger than Ausar? Probably. Who cares? I never understood
he's a lot older. He's a lot older, so
I never understood that stuff about power scaling though. It just didn't make any sense. It was like, who cares? Like I would never care if some other character in a different universe, right, can beat my character. It's like,
Who
cares? The rules are different. I don't care. Right? It's like I'll make a character that could be yours. All you have to do is
I actually had someone like come after me on Instagram about how their character could beat mine. I was like, what are you talking about?
You can write your character however you want. You can say your character literally only knows how to kill one person, and that is Alistair.
Clearly, your world is
one-shot Alistair. Like, who cares, man? It's like, how many copies you sold? That's how you beat Ausar. How many copies you sold? That's my power scaling right there. I'm messing with y'all. Great question though. I ain't gonna hate. Let's see. What makes you guys work different from other fantasy stories besides black representation? Black representation. I don't think we need to be different. I'll be honest with you. I really don't think so. I'm gonna put my foot down on this particular topic. We don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
The Expanse didn't have to reinvent the space genre. It just told it in a more realistic way. It said, let's tell space drama if it was a real life space drama. And that's what they did. They didn't change it. They added a lot of diversity into it and called it a day. They didn't want to reinvent the wheel. They basically made 3 factions of regular humans. They make them have special arms and legs and all that stuff. They just said, 3 human colonies, right? And that was it. So we don't have to do anything more than anybody else in order to create properties. We just got to make really high quality products, right? And make it black. And that's it. That's really all we got to do. You know why? Because there's not that many high quality black productions out there. All of them a cookie cutter. I love my hair. I love I love my skin stories with no freaking essence at all because it was curated by Hollywood. We get to tell really unique stories that people will figure out on themselves whether it's unique or not. And we put a nice big black label on it and say, "Yep, we did it." Independent of Hollywood or industry or whatever. And do you want to buy it? And that's it.
Right.
I really believe that is the most important thing. It's just showing that we can make absolutely exceptionally high quality products without them and going to market. That's the only important thing. And so, yeah, for me, I don't care about if people think it's the best story in the world or not, because I tell you, I could sell tens of thousands of copies of any story as long as it's high quality and black.
Yeah. Well, I personally, I think that's the most important part. Like, how many fantasy and sci-fi stories do you know that have black leads or have diverse casts? So that is that's what makes it cool. That's what makes it interesting. Like, look, here's my thing. Everybody wants to be black until they have to actually until you actually have to be black. So when you have something that's like injected with culture that has all the elements, not only from a person of color, but the elements of that experience in a novel, you already like the music, the film, like all the other things. You would love this story because it's got all the things that you patron in all these other places, but in a book. And previously, the books have been very one-dimensional. Not one-dimensional in that they're not great stories, but that they don't feature a multitude of human experiences. And that's what makes ours special, is that we feature a human experience that is historically not featured, or only featured in a very specific way, one that keeps us, not powerful, is what I would say.
Yeah, who doesn't want a good black joke, right? It said that only black people would get. It was like, that's one thing. That's the way you can easily find out that people were put in there to do a check mark off a list, right? Black characters put in the story for a check mark off the list. You can tell because they have no black humor, no black experiences that you can easily say, "Yep, I wouldn't have did that," just like he did, right? Like you'd be able to call it because you black. Black people ain't trying to do that, and these kind of things can only be done by authentic people. It's the same reason why when they do a Brazilian cut of a show, right? When they translate it, they don't just translate it into Portuguese and call it a day, right? Because Portuguese people in Portugal have a very different sense of humor and the way they use their words than people who are in freaking Sao Paulo, Brazil. So they have to use the Brazilian mentality and Brazilian language and way they talk in order to translate it properly. Otherwise, some jokes might not land at all. Yeah. Some jokes might be extremely offensive, right? All because they didn't get it. They're like, I didn't understand this sentence. So that's the same thing with the black experience. We look at shit and be like, ugh. You just see it from a mile away, like, yeah, this guy's not black. Whoever wrote this isn't black. And you just go from there, So.
My mom was talking about Soul this weekend, and I was like, I didn't watch that movie. I did not watch that movie. Oh, we just jumped.
Did you find all of the great campaigns by black creators? Well, I just follow everybody, so I'm a very nosy guy. I've trained Instagram for years to feed me black creators, right? So I get them a lot, right? It's the reason why a lot of people have nothing but giant boobs and butts in their face all day on Instagram, because they keep hitting the like button on those posts, and then they say, "Oh, you must really want this stuff," and then they go and feed you that stuff forever. So when I see images that are dope, I automatically hit like, and I follow the creator, and then I go to the similar accounts and see if any of them are similar to them for real, or is it just bullshit similars, right? And if they are creators as well, then I'll follow them and I'll hit like on a whole bunch of their posts. Anybody who's a creator, I'll just go through and just spam likes on them just to train Instagram. So Instagram says, oh, we need to find black creators for him. That's what makes him use our app, right? And Boom. That's how if you're wondering how the hell I got 40 freaking different creators or a comic series on BSP, that's how. I talked to like 100 and I got 40. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It's like that's how it works.
I'm so excited for your lineup too.
It's a dope lineup. It's a dope lineup.
So, it's really dope.
Let's see. Let's see if we have any more. I'm gonna ask one more question and then I'm done. I think you already said this earlier, but go ahead and you can answer that one.
Yeah. We've definitely been talking about it, so we'll figure it out. You know, it's a technology thing, which I totally understand.
It is a technology issue, 100%.
Technology issue. Definitely.
Like
if y'all will read it, you know, the thing about it is like it needs to make sense for you. So, you know, y'all buy the physical copy and tell your friends about it, and then he's gonna be like, man, we got everybody wants this book. We got to figure out how to put on the platform.
That's the thing about it too, right? Like I want to do test runs, but a lot of people just simply can't afford a test run, you know. So it drives me nuts because whenever I sell anything on my store, I gotta have like at least a 50% discount on the product, right? Just because I literally use a distribution center, so it has a high upkeep cost. So you know, I simply do a test there, but I usually have about 500 copies that I test through, and I want to see how fast I burn through those books. If I can burn through them in 2 or 3 weeks, then I could probably sell thousands of copies a month, right? As that's where there I see it, and then I go, all right, let's see if we can get the cost down. Let's get a special quote from China. Let's see if we could drive the cost all the way to the ground, right? And do a real like distribution run, right? Where we have thousands of copies on hand and we can really push it, right? We did that with Sword to Free. Sword to Free, we sold like 550 copies in 3 weeks, right? And I was like, oh, well, I ain't got no more copies, right? Like, done. I got nothing left. I can't sell anything, and he ain't got no more copies left either. So that's that. But, you know, if he did have copies, we would be moving on to the next phase, right? And trying to get to that hyper scaling scenario, right? But, you know, that's how I do my stuff. And in order for me to hit $2 million in sales this year, I'm going to need titles, a lot more titles than what I have. Everybody already bought all my books. You know, it's like one and done. They buy every single item I have on my store on day one. And then so this is my problem. I'll have like $90,000 or $100,000 in sales in a month, and 5% return rate. Like literally all new customers. Like that stuff wears out after a while. It does, and you got to be able to get people back in that store, which means I need more titles. You know, I just need more titles, even if it's not my titles. Just any excuse to come back to the store is a great thing to go and push that up. So we're definitely going to be experimenting with people. Hopefully we can experiment with your titles to get them on there and get that cost down for the print so we can actually, all make profits, and other titles as well. We're going to see. We're going to see. It's going to be a very strange year in Black economics. It will be.
I mean, look, you ain't playing. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to see. I mean, between what we're doing on the creator side, and then we got Bitcoin and NFTs and all these other types of things happening. And from what I see, we're just not taking any of the bullshit anymore. You know what I'm like? We're going to find a way. So just know that that's going to happen. Like, we're going to find a way.
We got to break the industry. Industry sucks.
We really do. And the more we band together, and support each other, that's really how it works, because
I'm not a believer in banding together. I don't like banding together. I'll be honest with you.
What do you mean?
I'm like such a warlord in this space. I'm not. I don't band together nothing.
Well, I'm talking about more from a consumer perspective. Like, people looking out, they're like, oh, Hawkeye and Winter Soldier and Milestone.
From a consumer perspective, they see it as the Black community banding together, right? I guess that from an outside perspective, they would see that, right? But everybody signing contracts with me, so the way it works is, I'm trying to just, like I said, I'm leading an army, and I'm trying to just decimate everything that comes across our path, and it can be people that typically you would think we'd be cool with, but it's not, because at the end of the day, nothing has changed in 40 years. Right, we got to do something different, and nobody's ready to do it. Everybody's still chasing that Disney deal. If Disney approached me today and said, "Hey, I want to buy Black Sands," I'd be like, "No,
Absolutely.
1,000 a month. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable enough to not care about that deal, right? I don't need it. I'm comfortable enough, and I'm just gonna keep scaling because I know I can scale, and I'm gonna keep going. And even if they offered me 10, 20 million dollars right now, I'd be like, I'll get it anyway. I'll get it eventually, right? It's like this inevitability. I have this inevitability that I'm seeing right now, and I truly believe that if I get enough titles under us, we go and get this BSP app blowing up. We can get into the top 20 on the App Store with a damn near 100% Black and brown audience. The motherfuckers don't know what to do. They're gonna be scared. They're gonna be like, "What the hell is going on here? How they get 1 million users of Black people?" Right? And it's gonna be like it's just gonna change the way the mechanics of Black people trying to go into the industry is gonna change when they see that Hollywood is vulnerable, right? They're vulnerable. They're clearly not as strong as we thought they were. They're clearly not the kingmakers that we thought they were. Then more Black creatives will be like, you know what? I think I could do it myself. Let me go and see what Black Sands is going, how we can grow with Black Sands. Let's just see what happens. Because at the end of the day, I want you guys to be able to sell your product, right? I am the best way to sell the product, but I would love if you were just a fucking wrecking ball in the industry where you go out to shows and get guest passes and everything else, and you're doing all these big plays because you've learned how to basically, lead massive people yourself from like the mechanics that we use and everything else, right? I want a whole bunch of people who just can't be stopped, right? And the idea is, Alexander didn't conquer the world by himself. He had amazing generals who were legendary in and of themselves, right? And that's the idea of what we're doing. Is we are just scorching earth everywhere we go, right? Scorch earth everywhere we go, and hopefully we change the industry through numbers. No, the impact. Oh, it's such a great impact, economic impact. I want to literally close your store because you can't compete, and then eventually y'all gonna learn to start showing some respect to some Black folks and give them better deals. Because if you don't, all of them are gonna leave you. They're gonna be like, I don't know, Black Sands is like super Black, right? And it's just as good. I don't think I should support Disney just out of the idea that they don't support Black Sands. All right, and you can start seeing those deals where they're like, oh, do you have any titles that we can publish? Like, no, we're not trying to buy anything. We just want to see if we can work with you or something like that. And those are the deals. Like, okay, since you want to work with us, that's completely different. You can definitely work together, right? And now we have a position of power that we can bargain from, right? We don't want them to buy our properties anymore. Co-development.
No. We don't get to keep anything. The ownership needs to stay.
We never keep anything, and it sucks. Co-development or no development. That's the only deals we want to have with Black Sands. There are some titles that we make for the industry, but those are throwaways. Like, I wrote a script. Here you go. Right? You didn't invest.
Exactly.
Right? That's fine. You made 3 or 4 books. You went to market with 3 or 4 books. You did all these Kickstarters and built this fan base. Fuck that. You can't have that story. Right?
No.
Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, guys, 100% support the campaign. Let's go check it out right now. I'm gonna go and add it back up here real quick, just so I can see where the numbers are. Let me see. Where are we at now? We started off at like what, 21,700 when we started yapping. All right, so now we're at 23,365. So 365. We did some damage. Let's keep doing some damage. I bet you that number is gonna skyrocket after this video is over and everybody's done listening to us yap. All right, so thank you guys so much for coming in here. He is not on our platform yet. We have absolutely no contractual obligation. This was not a paid post. This is just a Black man looking after another Black man who has done great things before. That's it. That's all it is. All right. That's it. I ain't got no skin in the game. All right. Doing favors to people is not my forte. I do things for people who have shown that they can get stuff done. I would never do a giant push for someone who hasn't already created something. You know what I'm saying? So he earned it. He got this shout out. Hopefully we come out pretty strong for him. And that's it. I already backed campaign like day 1. So the hell with y'all. I already got my stuff on there. I already backed it. Y'all can't beat me. I was day 1. Y'all don't start nothing with me. All right. Yeah, we're gonna teach classes eventually. Watch. When the app drops, I'm gonna get all y'all cats on freaking Clubhouse or something, doing giant 10,000, people in the
Yes.
room. Mega. It's gonna be like convention day or something.
Yeah,
Convention
yeah,
day,
yeah.
PSP convention day, and I'm having all the writers and creators and stuff in there. Yapping about stuff in the business and how the hell we're gonna destroy it and all that good stuff. All right. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Jason, give your last words, and then we are out.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support. You can pledge the Kickstarter right now, Lost Children of Andromeda. You can search it or hit the link in the chat. And I look forward to seeing the reward you choose.
All right. See y'all later.